Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. Hold on one sec. Okay. I don't know what my, I don't know. Something was going on with my camera. I hope we're all fine. Lake Tahoe. Oh, I've never been there. It's supposed to be beautiful. My friend Joni's son lives there, and he works at the ski resort, I believe. And she said it's gorgeous. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Come on, Solomon. It's okay. Good morning, Carmen Dudley. How are you this morning? So good, I hope. I hope everybody's so good. Hi, Karen. Good morning. Who's ready to get artsy? I sure am. Did you know that today is National Color Day? Come on. Is there a more perfect holiday for us to celebrate? I think not. I think not. Solomon's got to find his spot. Okay, lay down, big boy. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so what I asked you to do this morning is to print. I'm excited to have you here, Miss Carm. Is to print Vintage Papeterie 6. And hey, Laura. Hi, Vicky. How are you? If you're brand new here, Vicky, if you would like, follow, and subscribe to Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. For all things artsy and Anne, go to my website, AnnCorbiereScottDesigns.com. That's where you're going to find my art printables that we're going to use in today's class, and my artsy classes, my paid artsy classes. So, just so everybody knows. Okay, so what I asked you to do was to print Vintage Papeterie 6, and then take that printed piece of, I printed on watercolor paper this morning, the thin stuff that can go through my printer, and then print the Anne Marie art printable right on top of it. So I've already taken the liberty of printing and die cutting my pieces. So these two, so the paint palette and the paint brushes and then the sentiments, right? It's all printed on top of the Vintage Papeterie 6. So I think I want to start with the paint palette. That's kind of what I'm feeling this morning. So, and I got my Schmincke watercolors out this morning. These are my most expensive paints that I have. I got these, remember I was telling you about the color shaper that I got with Jeff's auntie when we were in England. I got these paints at the same time. So I just put some water on my paints to kind of get everything kind of started, right? So while I'm waiting for that water to kind of work its magic, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a little commercial for my upcoming classes. So next Saturday is Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles. And this is the artwork that we're going to use. Remember that you can use this artwork in your art journal if you're not a Bible journaler. I'm just teaching you techniques, right? I think that every artist needs to know, whoops, sorry, I got to stuck my finger in the paint. The more techniques you know, the more your creative muscle is going to grow, right? So, everybody take a drink. Anyway, so next Saturday in Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles, we're going to be working with masking fluid, right? So in Saturday's class, we're going to learn some techniques. And then in Sunday's class, Artsy Alchemy, we're going to learn some other techniques. So you're not going to learn everything in Bible journaling or everything in Artsy Alchemy. You're going to learn different things in different classes. So in Sunday, in Artsy Alchemy, that's my art journaling class, Artsy Alchemy 6, we're going to learn so many more artsy techniques with masking fluid, because masking fluid comes in so many iterations, right? And you can use all these different tools. And I've linked everything. Everything is in my Anne's Artsy Arsenal. You'll notice that it's new and improved, Anne's Artsy Arsenal, so that's cool. Both of these classes are open for registration on my website, Corbiere-Scott Designs.com. So I'm going to start painting. So I just love the vibe of this with that we've already started off with 2 layers, right? And remember, like, I just think layers just, oh my gosh, I just feel like they just fill my heart and soul. So I'm going to start with red. So I'm going to start with scarlet. That's right here. And I'm wanting this, you can tell that this is a, good morning, Jennifer. You can tell that this is a highly pigmented paint, because you see how opaque it goes on, right? Everybody take a drink. I gotta keep my throat moist or I'm gonna start hacking and coughing. I swear, I think it's going to live on in me forever. So I'm going to do the rainbow, right? So now I'm going to do some orange. Do you see how gorgeously that goes on? Mix that. Remember, be sure to mix that water into your paint. Kind of get it ready to paint. Solomon, crazy dog. Look at how beautiful that looks. I'm loving it. Now let's do some green. So I wanted to, I do have a list of things that I wanted to blab about this morning. What did I do with it? Well, I did want to ask, did everybody open their emails, their newsletters last night, so that you have, you knew about today's class? And then, and I also put out a post this morning, but let me know if you found out about it through my post or the newsletter. If you guys could answer that for me. You know, I'm always trying to work on being as, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, you know. Good morning, Katie. Okay, let's move on to blue, and I want to use this really nice cobalt turquoise. So I'm just going to work that water into my paint. There we go. Thanks, Carm. Thanks, Laura. Okay, now let's go to, I think I have a ultramarine. Yeah. Use that. And I think I'm going to have my rainbow go this way and then up. So I'm going to come over here with my ultramarine. Okay. And now let's do some violet. Violet, you're turning violet. Work that water in. Look at how pretty that is just now. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. Okay, so now I have some extra colors that I know I want to add. Just for the vibe I'm kind of going for. So I'm thinking let's do some pink. So I have magenta. Let's get some water in there. Oh, look how pretty that is. So pretty. Okay, so now I could do a couple of different things. I have Payne's Gray, which I love. So I could put a Payne's Gray here and then a white, which I'm kind of thinking. I think that's what I'm going to do. Payne's Gray, if you're ever buying fine watercolors, if you find yourself in the situation where you can, Payne's Gray is a great color. Do you see how it's pretty close to black? But think about all the lessons we've learned about ways to create value by adding more water, right? So by adding more water, you can create all the values of Payne's Gray. So it's going to be dark, and then it's going to get lighter, 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 right? And I have some pop and paint parties where I've taught value lessons. So you just need to look those up on the, yeah, I'm like, this is kind of where I wanted to go. Look those up on the Facebook page, or, you know, I'm working really hard to get all of my pop and paint parties backed up onto my YouTube channel, so just know that that's that's a possibility too. Okay, so now because we've used all of these colors, I want to paint my brush handle in a different color. So I have a Prussian blue that I kind of really like, and I have Permanent Carmine, which I kind of like, or here's my swatch. So I have this Prussian blue, which I'm kind of digging, but I was also, or this Permanent Carmine right here, which I thought might be kind of fun because it's a totally different red, or this Permanent Olive Green, which I'm kind of digging. So, gotta think about that. While I'm thinking about that, I'm gonna paint my brush. So, I do have some sepia brown and yellow ochre. So I'm going to take some of my yellow ochre for my brush, the bristles of my brush, right? But I want this, everything here has been pure straight color, right? But now I want to come in with a lighter value because I want to see my line work underneath, right? So do you see I'm doing a lighter value so that my line work underneath shows through. And then the ferrule, which is right here, I want to do that in like a very light Payne's gray, so it looks kind of metalish. But it's right next to, do you see that red that got it? Ugh. Let's see if we can get that off. Find another clean spot. I'm going to have to work on this one to get it out. Red is the hardest. Okay. Rock on. So it's light enough that I'll be able to work with that. Right? So now let's think about our handle. Let's do our handle first because we need this to dry before we paint the ferrule. So, let's see. I'm thinking about it. While I'm thinking about it, let's talk about pumpkins. It's pumpkin season, right? So, think about, I was thinking, I wrote in the newsletter that everybody should carve a pumpkin at Halloween because it's like this amazing substrate that's totally different than anything we normally create artwork on, right? It's totally, number one, it's dimensional. Number two, you're using different skill sets, right? And you have to really consider positive and negative space, right? So, I want everybody to just go to Walmart or a pumpkin patch or wherever and get a pumpkin and carve a pumpkin. It's a fun activity. It's a really fun activity. Here we can't, because it's so warm here, we have to do our jack-o'-lantern carving like really close to Halloween. We can't do them way ahead of time, but we still do them. Anyway, I was thinking, well, hey, Debbie. Oh, the Seattle Space Needle. How cool is that? I saw you were at Mount Rainier yesterday. Amazing. I'm sure it was so beautiful. I'm sure it must have been just awe-inspiring. Oh, so anyway, back to pumpkins. So be looking at pumpkins, Deb, and pumpkin things. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if in the private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott, we shared all things pumpkin, right? Pumpkin, like jack-o'-lanterns that we carve. If you carved one, a really cool one in the past, and you snapped a picture, post a picture. If you have a cool pumpkin recipe, what your favorite pumpkin products are that come out during the season, cards that you've made with my pumpkin artwork. I would love to see all of it. Just all of it, all of it, all of it. Anyway, just be kind of thinking about that. So now we need to do this handle. So, are we going to do blue? Good morning, Sharon. How are you? So I'm going to get some Prussian blue up here and then add some water. really thin it out. Because this one, I want the lettering behind to kind of shine through. Because my colors are all bright that I chose, so I thought it would be cool to have the brush kind of muted. So cool, right? So now I'm going to set this one aside and let that dry, and then we're going to do paintbrushes. How fun is that? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 colors that we could do. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So I'm thinking let's do these in rainbow order too. Do you know what I mean? I just thought that might be fun. So let's do that scarlet again. So shall we do the handles or the brush tips? Let's do the handles. Hey Donna, how are you this morning? We are just celebrating National Color Day by painting colors on my most artsy of art printables. Anne Marie, named after me, who loves art. Okay. And that's my name. Don't wear it out. Okay. Now we're going to get to a little bit of a tricky area because, do you see, we've got some overlapping, and remember, it's hard to paint things that are butted right up next to each other because while they're still wet, we want to make sure everything's dry before we add the next layer. So I'm going to come in and do my yellow layer, right? And this one's going to be my green, so let's hold off on that just a minute. Oh, what did you make? We were just talking about pumpkin things. Like, share all the pumpkin things in the Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott Facebook group. That's a private group where you can post pictures and recipes if you'd like, or fun stories, or cards that you've created with my art, my pumpkin-y artwork. Everybody take a drink. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to do, turquoise is going to be right here, but that one overlaps too. So let's do ultramarine. So what did you bake, Donna, for Halloween baking? My neighbor makes pumpkin cookies. We live in a very Halloween-y neighborhood. And, I mean, oh, chocolate-covered Oreos and brie. So what's up with baked brie? Yum. Well, that sounds delicious. Move that violet around. Ooh, funfetti. There's nothing more festive than that, is there? Let's see. So now, remember I told you I want to do, for this one, I think I want to do my brush bristles Payne's Gray, but I want to do a lighter value. So I'm going to get some Payne's Gray. I'm going to find a little clean spot on this palette. Add some more water because I want it translucent enough that you can see the line work underneath. That's exactly what I wanted. I know. Let's go to Donna's house for a snack after class. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That sounds super fun. Here we go. Oh, thank you, Donna. You know what? I've been trying to think of like a new artsy one that I can draw. I've just been lots of ideas rolling around in my noggin. Hi, Kelly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so this kind of has a lot to dry before we can move on to our next layer. Let's see how we're doing with this one. I think we're going to need a little help with this one. I love that even though this paint is pretty opaque, I can still see bits of the vintage paper underneath. I love that. Hey Cheryl, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to dry, let's do a comfort book. Put my fan down. Let's see if I can get some air blowing on these pieces. Oh, that's so cool, Donna. That's so cool. I love that. And nothing makes you feel prouder and makes your heart fuller, does it? To do something for somebody else. Absolutely. So I'm going to put these both here. If you're brand new here, if you would follow, like, and subscribe to Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And you will join the kindest, most creative community in all the land. And then ask to join Let's Get Artsy with Ann Corbiere-Scott Facebook group and the Stitch the States with Ann Corbiere-Scott Facebook group. Both of those are Oh, Donna, I love that. Okay, so let's do, what's our next page in the comfort book? Delete the italics. Ready? I am not popular enough. I am not good enough. I am not strong enough. I am not lovable enough. I am not attractive enough. I am not cool enough. I am not hot enough. I am not clever enough. I am not funny enough. I am not educated enough. I am not Oxford enough. I am not literary enough. I am not rich enough. I am not posh enough. I am not young enough. I am not tough enough. I am not well-traveled enough. I am not talented enough. I am not cultured enough. I am not smooth-skinned enough. I am not thin enough. I am not muscular enough. I am not famous enough. I am not interesting enough. I am not worth enough. And then the next page says, I am enough. We are all enough, aren't we? We are all enough. And I think that's such a bad place to be when you are filling yourself with self-doubt and never feeling enough. Ugh, it's the worst, isn't it? It's the worst, worst, worst. These are taking a long time to dry. So, let's see, I do have the sentiments. I could fiddle around with those a little bit, I think. I have where did I set them? I mean, I'm just right here, pity sake. Isn't that crazy? How can you lose things so easily? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll move these. Oh my gosh. So did you see that I posted in the newsletter I talked about Ornamentally Yours? Carmen and I have, I'm just going to tell you the coolest thing cooking up for all of us to play with. I can hardly, I'm so eager to share this one. I can't even talk about it. Well, you know, I'll talk about it, but you know what I mean. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We're going to have ourselves a time. Well, I can't find the sentiments. So, we're just going to go on with what we got going on here. That's the craziest thing. Oh, there they are. Here we go. Okay, so I have You Are a Work of Art, Peace, Love, and Art, and You Gotta Have Art, with the cross on the T as a paintbrush. So, let's see. I'm feeling like, we could do Peace, Love, and Art on this one, maybe, and You Gotta Have Art on this, well, I don't know. Anyway, let's, oh, you know what? I could probably start painting these other brush handles. So we want to do green. Work that water in. Let's do this one green. And I'm just being very careful how close I come to the yellow brush handle. And I like to die cut my pieces. Good morning, Auntie. I like to die cut my pieces sometimes beforehand because I like to paint over the die cut because I like that stitched die cut and then it just looks kind of quilty on the edge. I love that. So now we have this turquoise that's going to go right here. So we're going to need to be really careful. Right here. Stop it. Isn't that the prettiest? I just love it. Okay. It looks like everything's going to need to dry a little bit longer because I have this cool idea. I knew I wanted to do this art printable for National Color Day. I mean, come on. What a better way to celebrate, right? But then I was really thinking that, I'm going to try my little fan. Hey, if any of you need a little fan, I got this one on Amazon, of course. And it is super quiet, and it is nice and powerful. It just sits on my desk all the time. I just love it. I did have somebody ask me, send me a DM yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Asking me for color suggestions for Copic coloring of some of my art printables. And so I told them, and I will tell you, that I am lucky enough to have Michelle Houghton on my design team. And she is the Copic queen. And I have Kina, who is also a Copic queen. So I have lots of amazing artwork done, painting done with Copic markers and my artwork. But Michelle has consistently posted for the whole time she's been on my design team, almost 2.5 years, at least 2 years. She posts Copic videos on my YouTube channel. So when you go to my YouTube channel, when you go to where it says videos and then it'll say categories, look for Copic, and you will see some amazing stuff. And then if you go to Pop In Paint Party, you'll see all of my videos that I've posted so far. I still have lots to go, but just know that there are some there. Good morning, Caroline. How are you? I can't tell if that's still wet or if it's just shiny. I think it's just shiny. So this one I'm going to set aside. Because I wanted to talk about... Hey, Tim! So we printed the Vintage Papeterie 6, and then we printed the Anne-Marie on top. So, and we painted our paint palette. And you can paint your paint palette however you want, because colors are colors, right? So now I wanted to take my Posca pen, or you could, if you have a steady hand, you could use, you could certainly use a paintbrush, but I wanted to do some, another layer of details. So I'm thinking a dot, and then a dot, and then a dot, like smaller, 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 right? But let's do them all different directions. Right? Look at that. Just that addition of that has stepped it up a notch, right? Take your time with this part. Do you see how this just adds like another graphic element? It's kind of difficult on these really dark ones for it to show. I'm not going to do Payne's Gray, obviously. Ta-da! Look at how cool that is. I just love, like, just that little addition has popped it. Just that little bit more. I'm going to put this on a black matte because I think that's going to really, it's going to bring out all those black lines. It's going to really make them pop. And now I'm thinking about where I want to go with my little, if I want to do something with the little pans that the color is lying in. I was thinking about a really light shade of Payne's Gray, like just to give it just a little bit of dimension. But then I was thinking about, what if I got a gray colored pencil, and I have, this one's a warm gray. And I typically don't use warm grays. I like cool grays, but I'm thinking that might be kind of cool. This is a 50, I believe. And I think I want, see, that's a putty beige. I'm kind of digging that. Good morning, Nancy. So I'm going to go around with this putty gray, I think. Let's see. This is a lighter one. There, do you see the difference between a light gray, or excuse me, a warm gray and a cool gray? This is the cool, this is the warm. Do you see the difference? Just kind of, let's see. Be sure to, and these are both 50%. So just kind of make a note, like you might when you're at, the next time you're at Michael's or Joann or an art store, look at them, pull them out and see if you can feel the difference in the warm and the cool. Do you know what I mean? I kind of like both of those. So I'm going to, I always go with cool gray. Let's go with warm gray. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to do a little bit of a shadow. And my pencil is barely touching my paper. Right? Like no pressure at all. I'm not pushing it down. I'm just back, forth, right? And you know I like to do layers of colors. So let's see, what do we got here? Cool gray, French gray. See, there's a whole nother level of gray. I want to do a lighter, warm gray. That I can soften my 50% with. I think I have, there's a 30, I thought I had like a 10. I feel like that will be... Okay, so I did the 50, so let's come in with the 30, and let's just soften that, just that circular blend. Right, circular blend, and just not touching my paper very much at all. And do you see how that like already adds some dimension? And we could even do some more right here. Just barely. Back, forth, back, forth. And let's go over it with the 30. Stop it. So I just kind of automatically decided that this side was going to be my dark side. My light source is over here. I just decided that when I laid down the first little bit of shading color. Didn't put much thought into it. I need to move those because I know myself. I'm going to start. Here we go. Look at that. So pretty. There we go. Back, forth, back, forth. Let's do a little bit right there. So pretty. I think the addition of this on top of the vintage Papeterie and then the paint palette. Oh, I'm loving it so much. And just by adding just this little bit of dimension is just taking this whole art piece up a notch. So the dies that I use most of the time when I make slim lines and A2s are just stitch rectangles. Those are my favorite. And I'm telling you, a place to go is, Tessa and I were just having this conversation. Gina Marie Designs. Her dies are the most reasonably priced. Everybody take a drink. She's another small business. She's, her shipping is good. And she has a huge variety of die designs. You'll see some of my artwork on her website. Cut out with her dies. I love that. And that's not why I would say it. I'm just saying her stuff is amazing. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it so much, you guys. Oh, how am I doing on time? I might be able to finish this. At least the painty part. by the end of class. So when you're creating, just think about the addition of a little bit of a shadow, what that's going to do to whatever you're creating. There we go. I'm loving it. Oh, you guys. Let's do this side of the paintbrush. Barely, barely. Barely, barely. Like, I'm telling you, like, barely touch the paper. So you get just the smallest hint of color so that you're not fighting it. You know what I mean? And then come in with that lighter color and just do that circular blend, but again, barely touching your paper. Barely, barely touching your paper. Because that's going to give you a nice, even, gradual blend. And that's kind of what we're going for. Usually when we're adding shadow, we want it to be gradual, not harsh. Right? Stop it, you guys. I'm loving it. Okay, now I'm going to take my white Posca and I'm going to come in Good morning, Emanuela. Why is this not coming out? Prime those Posca pens. Shake it up, get that paint moving, and then prime, prime, prime. Okay. Look at that. Just that little tiny bit of, so this one, sorry, I'm in the flow zone here. Kind of having to concentrate on my highlight dots. Turn, 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 turn. Remember, just turn that substrate. Oh, you guys. I'm really liking it. I think I might want to come in with a smaller black and do black highlights on this one. There we go. Oh my gosh. I'm loving it so much. I hope you're coloring along with me. I'm dying to see frames and envelopes. Let's see. Well, I would still envelopes, like little envelopes, like for a gift card, like that kind of envelope, Donna. Or like an A2 card, like that kind of size. This, I'm feeling like I want to do some highlights in there. Like maybe. What's this? Sienna brown. Again, barely. Hey Vicky, how are you feeling this morning? Oh, a note card size. Anybody have any suggestions? I'm looking for, you know what? I don't know if she has a YouTube, Donna, but her stuff is so prevalent in the card making world. So many card makers use her stuff because it's reasonably priced and it's she has a wide variety, you know. She has some that are for mats, some that are slimline, some that are objects. I just buy the ones that are slimline and A2 size mats. That's the collection that I have. Let's see. All right. I'm feeling like I might want to do the same kind of thing on this. So I'm feeling like let's do those same colors. The 50% warm gray and the 30% warm gray. Yeah, so I'm telling you, she's the place to go. So I'm going to start with my 30 this time. And I'm just going to back, forth. And I'm kind of going in to these little doohickeys on the ferrule. I don't know, just kind of play up that design because I really kind of like it. There we go. Just little by little. And again, barely touching my paper. You just want a light covering of color. Not even a covering, just like a super light application of color. So this is going to be darker in here, remember, because those two brushes are, one's kind of lying on top of the other, and so we want it a little bit darker because we know when one thing is lying on top of another, that's going to be it'll be dark. Right? There we go. Let's do one last paintbrush. Back, forth. Let's do here. Let's do here. Here. Oh, we have to do this long handle. So this is what I usually like to do when I'm using colored pencils. Light, dark, light. So now I'm going to come in and just right next to the image, I want to come in with that dark, the darker color, and just right next to it. Right? See how that just makes it pop just ever so slightly more. So pretty. Oh, looks like I've missed a little bit with my lighter three. Right up next to that image. So pretty. Turn that pencil, get to the sweet spot, whatever the sweet spot is for you. Do you know what I mean? If you like the pointier spot, if you like the more rounded spot, just kind of, and the way you get to know that is just by using them over and over and over again. You'll find what works the best for you. There we go. Now I'm going to come back. Remember, a rounded end on your colored pencil is blending bliss. Pointy is kind of for sharp details. And then I'm just doing that circular blend over that dark color that I just put down. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's looking so good. Like that just adds like immediate dimension. I hope you're having a great National Color Day. Oh, look at that. I'm just loving it. I'm just loving it. I hope everybody is having a great start to your National Color Day. I can't wait to see I'm sorry, how you all are going to celebrate. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It could be paint your nails. It could be, I don't know, paint a picture. Whatever you choose. I adore you all. Thank you so much for popping in here on a surprise Saturday pop-in paint party. Just hanging with me. You know. getting painty. I love that. If you're watching this on the replay, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button on this video. That helps me tremendously. And then know that you can get all of my art printables. There's so many on my website, AnnCorbiereScottDesigns.com. And I will see you Tuesday for the next pop-in paint party, and it is Pablo Picasso's birthday. How cool is that? I adore you all. Thanks so much, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.